News of discovery of 5.9 million tons inferred resources of lithium in Salal Hamina area of Risai district, Jammu and Kashmir, by the Geological Survey of India has been received as a game changer in India's impending transition to a green economy. The term inferred refers to the preliminary exploration stage, the second of a four-step process, according to the Mines and Minerals Development and Exploration Act 1957. So the question is, why is this significant? Lithium-ion batteries are used in wind turbines, solar panels, and electric vehicles, all of which are crucial in green economy. A World Bank study suggests that the demand for crucial metals such as lithium and cobalt is expected to rise by nearly 500% by 2050, while the global electric vehicle market is projected to reach $823.75 billion by 2030, registering a compounded annual growth rate (CAGR) of 18.2% from 2021-2030. India's market is projected to register a CAGR of 23.76 by 2028. India is seeking to secure its crucial mineral supplies and build self-sufficiency in this sector, as India currently imports all of its lithium from Australia and Argentina and 70% of its lithium-ion cell requirement from China and Hong Kong. The lithium reserves in J&K could boost the domestic battery manufacturing industry. If the perceived size of mineral reserves in J&K is born out of further exploration, India could jump ahead of China. The J&K reserve will also help advance the Indian government's ambitious plan of 30% EV penetration in private cars, 70% for commercial vehicles, and 80% for 2 and 3 wheelers by 2030 for the automobile industry. They will strengthen India's national mission on transformative mobility and battery storage as well. So what are the geostrategic concerns? Critical mineral dependencies constitute a major geostrategic concern in the transition to net zero carbon energy systems. In the present scenario, as countries seek to avoid dependency and vulnerabilities related to critical minerals, the latter are likely to be at least as important as oil and gas in the near future. A high level of dependence on China for lithium and other crucial metals and derivatives are also perceived to be source of energy security risk. China currently holds 77% of global lithium-ion battery manufacturing capacity and is home to 6 of world's 10 manufacturing companies. As a result, the EU, the US, Canada, India, and other major countries' economies have been trying to leverage alternative supplies that can challenge China's geopolitical dominance in the area. For example, responding to perceived national security concerns, the Canadian government has asked Chinese companies to divert from Canadian lithium mining companies. The growing geopolitical rivalry with China makes India's security considerations more immediate as well, especially also light of the long-standing and recently escalating territorial and border disputes. To reduce dependence on China, the Indian government and industries are pushing for a rare earths mission to exploit the country's critical mineral reserves, which account for 6% of world's rare earth reserves prior to the discovery of lithium in J&K. The new discovery has more geostrategic implications considering the geopolitical sensitivity of a wider location. Although Risai is in the relatively more stable Jammu region, the Union Territory of J&K, previously a state, has been the site of historical cross-border tensions between India and Pakistan, domestic insurgency and terrorism. If the local populace isn't meaningfully engaged in the impending lithium extraction project, the resulting tension could introduce new frontiers of socio-environmental conflict. So let's discuss what will be the environmental effect of lithium mining. The application of lithium in renewable energy infrastructure often obscure its significant environmental consequences, which vary according to the source. Extracting lithium from hardcore mines, similar to what has already been proposed in J&K, entails open pit mining followed by roasting the ore using fossil fuels. Industry estimates suggest that this process consumes 170 cubic meter of water and releases 15 ton of CO2 of every ton of lithium extracted. Open pit mining, refining, and waste disposal from these processes substantially degrade the environment, including depletes and contaminates waterways and groundwater, diminishes biodiversity, and releases considerable air pollution. This said, the geological context of mining in J&K differs from Australia, which has the largest lithium stock in hard rock mines and in other major way. In Australia, lithium-bearing pegmatite deposits are found in the ancient geological regions of Pilbara and Ilian Cratons, whose continental rocks have been stable for over a billion years. The Himalaya, on the other hand, is the youngest mountain range in the world and is more unstable. Incidents of land sinking, has been reported from a village in Doda district in Chenab Valley, which extends to some part of Desai. In the densely populated context of India, the socio-environmental effects of mining are likely to be far worse than they have been in Australia and likely comparable to lithium extraction in South America. So what we can learn from South America? As India embarks on this new journey, it could learn from the experiences of South American countries, especially the lithium triangle of Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina, which contains roughly half the world's known lithium. In Bolivia and Chile, lithium extraction has been either in the hands of state or requires mining companies to enter into a contract with state-owned companies. In April 2022, Mexican lawmakers introduced reforms to create a state-owned entity to extract, process, and sell lithium and outlaw all direct private investment and production in the lithium sector. Even so, lithium mining has had adverse social and environmental consequences in the region, testing its law meant to protect indigenous people. In 2019, Chile's environmental regulators approved a $25 million compliance plan for lithium miner SQM, charged with overdrawing lithium-rich brine from the Salar de Atacama salt flat. However, the company failed to satisfy authorities, who reversed their decision in 2020. In September 2021, the Atacama Indigenous Council appealed to regulators citing constant danger and called for the temporary suspension of SQM's environmental approvals. In August 2022, Chilean regulators approved an update compliance plan worth $52 million, in which SQM proposed to work with both the regulator and local communities to address environmental infractions. Indigenous resistance and increased awareness of the environmental impact of lithium mining has promoted global car makers, including Mercedes-Benz and Volkswagen, to look for lithium mined with the lowest socio-ecological impact. Other corporates are making similar amends. Mineral Resource Corporation recently signed an agreement with various companies. So the final question arises is, what safeguard does India's mining sector have? State government officials in Jammu and Kashmir have said plans for lithium exploration will involve local communities, who will also be prioritized for jobs in exploration and mine development. Yet, employment in mining may not fully offset the consequences on local agriculture, animal husbandry, and tourism. In recognition of the local effects of mining, in 2015, Lok Sabha amended the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act 1957. Established the District Mineral Foundation (DMF). The DMF is a non-profit statutory trust for every Indian district affected by mining-related operations that should work for the interest and benefit of persons and areas affected by mineral-related operations. In practice, the DMFs have become sites of centralized bureaucratic control without meaningful public participation or accountability. For example, a CAG audit in May 2022 noted that the district collectors of Bokaro, Dhanbad, and Ranchi incurred an expense of 1,568 crore from DMF funds without identifying the areas affected by mining or a list of affected people. Ironically, the auditors were denied access to documents related to the functioning of state-level monitoring committee. The general failure of DMFs adds to concern expressed by environmental and concerned citizens about the recent history of weakening of the environmental impact assessment framework. The geostrategic importance of lithium exploration and extraction make it even more important than the exploration and extraction of resources should be done in public interest and must preempt any serious environmental and social problems. Equally important than most effective use of lithium reserves should be for the most important parts of renewable energy transition, which would also aid the goals of addressing energy poverty and sustainable development. In these ends, reducing luxury consumption and promoting public transport should be an important part of agenda of a just transition. Thank you everyone.